this webinar. And I'm glad I finally got courage to doing it. It's not been easy, I can't guarantee you, but I'm glad I finally did it. And like Albert Einstein said, failure is success in progress. And I believe if you listen to most successful people, many times they will tell you of how failure is what propelled them to success. I listened to John Maxwell one time telling his life story, and I'm thinking, for the longest, I used to think he was such a great public speaker from the very beginning. Yeah. And many other people that I admire, if you listen to them, they tell you of the failures that they've had before they got to where they are. And then lastly, authentic identity. If your identity is built only on achievement, confidence becomes fragile. Who are you when you're not proving yourself? Especially in a society where everything seems to be about achievement until we lose who we are. In fact, I'm attending a course, and one of the questions we were asked at the beginning, who are you when you're not your position, when you're not all those things that you have? When it was a difficult question, but we are getting to answer that question, who we are, because that's what is authentic identity. Who you are, your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses also, but just don't over magnify those at the expense of your strengths. And usually, if you're able to identify this, then the next thing is you get to understand your values. There are things that you can say, what is my more powerful yes when I'm put at a corner? What is my more powerful yes when I'm doubting myself? What is my more powerful yes when I need to make a decision? That is another way of describing your values. For me, for the longest, I used to have the cliche, integrity, transparency, and name it. Until somebody asked me this one, I'd say a powerful question. What is my more powerful yes? And I discovered some of my values are relationships. I value relationships. So I'd probably say yes to a relationship as opposed something that will make the relationship work as opposed to making that relationship not work. But I had to be careful because sometimes people take advantage. But now I'm self-aware. One of my other values is work. I realize I value work. Maybe it's because of my upbringing, but I had to be careful because I realize sometimes people also can take advantage. When they want something, who can do it? Monique. When they want something done, who can do it? Monique. But now I'm asking myself, that's my value, but how does it work for me? Before I say yes when I'm called to do something. So I have many other values, but I choose to just to talk on those two. Confidence built on values is sustainable. Confidence is acting despite doubt. So what are those values that anchor you such that when that inner critic brings in doubt, you're able to say no and say yes, because this is my value. This is what directs my decisions and my behaviors. This was not going to be a long presentation. I just thought, let me do it. Let me start. And this is the beginning. So the program I am putting up is a program that will help us first identify what situations do I have the inner critic speak too loud. And as I'm asking myself those situations, Can I identify the voice of the inner critic? Because different people have different voices of the inner critic. And once you're able to identify the inner critic, the voice that prevents you from being the best person of who you can be, then we go to another step and ask ourselves, how can we reframe it? Once we reframe those negative thoughts, those voices that hinder us from being the best version of ourselves, then the next thing we ask ourselves, how can I build confidence? How can I build visibility? How can I build my authentic identity? And how can I build values that guide me so that when I'm triggered with the inner critic or with the imposter syndrome, I'm able to say nope, and I'm able to say this is me, and I'm going to do what I'm charged or what I'm called to do. Because as I conclude, I would say confidence is not the absence of doubt, it's the decisions to move forward with awareness. So are you ready to move forward with awareness as opposed to being stuck at that point? I'd like to say thank you very much, and I'm open for any comments or questions at this time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Monique. That was very powerful. It was a very good presentation, and really learned a lot. So as Monica said, if you have any question, any clarification, you can put on the chat, and I'm sure she'll be able to address whatever we'll put on the chat.
Okay. Thank you for your reactions. If there are no questions, probably I would ask, so what is your takeout from this webinar this evening?
Hi, Monique. This is Dorina.
Yes, Dorina.
I enjoyed the presentation, looking into the fact that, I was looking into myself and, when you are an introvert and a perfectionist, it was really ringing the bell, like, okay, you criticize yourself a lot. You pretend maybe I just have to be in my corner because of being an introvert. So you've given me ideas that I need to work on for me as an individual. So thank you very much for doing this session. And I know Vicky is there. Vicky, please keep them coming. They are really enlightening me personally. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dorina. And I wish you all the best.
Judy on the chat is saying, when you asked what is the takeaway, she says to stop overthinking. Thank you, Judy.
Yes, you're right, Marvin. Just get it done. Yes. For me, what surprised me is when I was researching and reading about the inner critic, the imposter syndrome. What surprised me is that it's more with high performers. It's an issue with more with high performers, not the mediocre performers. Yeah. That was a surprise for me.
Maybe a question for you, Monique. This is Mbithe. I wonder why that's the case, that it's high-performing people who suffer more from this imposter syndrome. What have you found out?
I'll go back to the slide of the sabotage, because if you read also about the imposter syndrome, they say it's not really a bad thing because it protects us. The only problem when it becomes bad is when it inhibits you from making that step. So I think it's more with people who are high performers, because number one for many high performers is that fear of failure. Especially if you are very good at something, people who are very good at what they do not know how to handle failure. So that fear of failure is one of the major reasons the inner critic is loud. And then depending on your personality, fear of rejection. You could be good at what you're doing, and what if they don't accept me? Yeah. Because you're so good, you're so used to being given accolades, and you think because you're being given accolades, then you have to be accepted. But what I also learned, even as I was researching and reading about it, it's because successful people or high performers are usually used to being up there. So they don't know how to be down here. But life is not always straight. And that's why I said it's not about removing that inner critic, but it's more about creating awareness. What's your inner critic? And once you're aware of your inner critic, how do you manage it so that it does not become your stumbling block? That's how I'd answer that question.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can see another comment. Is it a comment? Yeah, my takeaway, pursue courageous visibility. Yes, Wamboi. Yeah. And you can, when you think about it, have you been in a situation whereby you knew you are good at something, you knew you are competent, but you are shy? And because you are shy, especially, and also research says it's more with us women than men. Because you are shy, or because of that inner critic, somebody less competent was bold enough to come forward, and they were given that promotion, or they were given that opportunity, and they're thinking, shucks, that's an opportunity gone because of my own imposter syndrome. Because for them, they are used to being told no, or they're used to being failure. But as you're allowing your inner critic to work on you, then they're progressing and growing, or they're progressing, getting those opportunities. So how can we be courageously visible out there and tell the community what we do? Yes, Gladys, it all starts with self-awareness. So for me, in conclusion, I'll just finish with the last slide and say, I hope it's going to work, not moving. Where do I go back? Let me stop sharing and put it on the last slide as I share it. If there's no other question, I'll conclude with this last slide. Just allow me. Why is it going back? Oh, okay. So in conclusion, I would like just to say 20 years from now, or even 10 years from now, or even could bring it closer 5 years from now, or even like me, 1 year from now, will you be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the things you did? Many times we are more disappointed by the things that we didn't do. So I'd like to say, so throw off those bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover, as Mark Twain said it. And for me, that's what I'd like to do. So I'd like to explore, I'd like to discover, I'd like to go sail out there as I start my group coaching program on overcoming the inner critic towards building a more self-confident person who is more visible out there. Otherwise, thank you very much and God bless you all. Asanteni.
Thank you so much, Miss Monique. That was very good and very powerful. But we have a question from Agnes. She's saying, vulnerability is the key to making community work for you. Kindly expound on this notion.
Thank you for asking that question. You've heard the famous statement, your network is your net worth. So one way of overcoming that inner critic, of silencing the inner critic, is finding out a community of which you could be vulnerable to. Because we all have our fears, we all have our shortcomings. And once you are vulnerable to that community, you'll be surprised on what freedom it will give you, so that it helps you even silence that inner critic more as you move forward to your goals, as you move forward to your journey. That's what that suggestion means. Being vulnerable. And of course, you have to choose whom you're being vulnerable to. Talk about your fears. Talk about your shortcomings. And you'll be surprised who can come and compliment you so that you even achieve your goals faster. I hope that's clear, Agnes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all our practitioners for sparing time to listen in. And thank you very much, Miss Monique. That was very good and very insightful. And I really want to take this opportunity to thank all our practitioners for attending this particular webinar, the engagement, and for everyone also for sparing time to be here. We are truly humble and grateful. We'll share this particular recording, and thank you very much. I think we are just right on time. Normally it's from 6 to 7, and we've done exactly that. So thank you and have a blessed week ahead, and happy Easter. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter too.
Happy Easter.